Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Hoping you are hale and hearty and taking very good care of yourself and everyone around you. Let me tell you a dua for success for difficult tasks. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. So, what does this dua exactly mean? What did Prophet Musa alayhi salam ask of Allah by reciting the above? Translation: O my Lord, expand for me my chest means grant me knowledge, self-confidence, contentment and boldness. Ease my tasks for me and remove the impediment from speech so they may understand what I say. Dear students, we can benefit greatly from this dua. There will be times in our lives when we will be required to speak up and be courageous. Reciting this dua asks Allah to open up your chest, to speak with confidence, to have an increase in your knowledge. So, that was just a dua, thought of the day for you, a food for thought. So, dear students, we were done with the two types of modern uses of computers in our previous lecture, which were cloud computing and data centers. As discussed earlier, cloud computing is a phenomenon which allows you to access, maintain, modify, manage, and store your data on a virtual invisible platform provided by a third party, provided by a cloud service provider. For example, Gmail or Yahoo Mail. You can use, write, access, store, send your emails from Google account, and that platform is not present inside your computer. Actually, it is stored on a cloud platform. But you can use this platform, you can use and open the options, interface-based options or windows of that platform of Gmail on your device. Likewise, data centers are central locations where powerful server computers like mainframes, huge storage spaces like hard disks, and several other hardware or software components reside, providing those components as resources on rent to the organizations for usage, or those components or those data centers are owned and deployed by any company for its internal use. Suppose Google has its own data center for its organizational use to serve its billions of users. Today, we are going to discuss the other two types of modern uses of computers, which are IoT and mobile computing. Before moving forward, an important announcement for you is that on next Tuesday, 21st of July, from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m., live questions and answers session would be conducted for you using Google Zoom software. That session would be for computer science related issues, queries. More information is available at the end of this lecture. The aims and objectives of today's lecture are to study about the two remaining types of modern uses of computers, which are IoT computing and mobile computing. In IoT computing, we will be studying the overview. We will be studying the elements of an IoT-based device. We will be studying about some basic terms relevant to these two topics. In order to facilitate you in further understanding these topics, we will be studying about that how IoT actually works, as well as about the machine-to-machine interaction supported by the IoT and human-to-machine or human-to-object interaction or communication supported by the IoT. We will be studying an IoT architecture and why actually we need IoT. After completing IoT, we will be moving towards mobile computing topic. We will study its overview, its three main components, its three main elements. We will study about the types of mobile devices. We will study about the three main uses of mobile computing, and we will be studying about the basic differences between IoT based computing and mobile computing, and the differences between IoT and cloud computing. So, what does IoT mean? IoT stands for Internet of Things. IoT is an ecosystem of connected physical objects that are accessible through the internet. Actually, IoT refers to the connection of portable and non-portable objects through internet. IoT is a network of internet connected daily life objects or physical devices which collect and exchange data wirelessly. Internet of Things actually mean that things which are internet enabled, which can use internet, which can be connected to one another, which can communicate with one another, or which can exchange data with one another through internet. Now you must be thinking of devices such as smartphones or tablets or computers which can actually use internet, which are internet enabled, but actually that is not the case here. Internet of Things doesn't include advanced computing devices like smartphones or tablets or computers or laptops, etc. Internet of Things actually includes common devices, daily life devices, which are actually further built in with sensors and actuators to make them smart. We would further discuss this topic in detail and you would understand or grab the concept. Further, you need to understand is that IoT is simply connecting all the surrounding devices, common devices, daily life devices, or smart devices through internet. Now you can see this diagram on your screen where you can see a grinder, a washing machine, a clock, a car, a microwave oven, speakers, a TV, a received generator, or a calculator. Now you must be thinking that these are daily life objects, these are common objects, but how they can be internet enabled? And that is true. The grinder which is actually placed in our kitchen is not internet enabled. But nowadays, latest grinders or latest washing machines or speakers or cars or microwave ovens are actually available in the market, which are smart, which have built-in internet enabling, which have built-in actuators and sensors inside them. If a common life object doesn't have any kind of internet facility built in inside it, we cannot say it a smart device. So the device which actually fulfills the criteria of being smart, that device we can say is actually using the phenomena of Internet of Things. The only difference between a common life common object or a smart common life object is only the internet availability. If your fridge has internet enabled in its circuitry and it can communicate its data with some other smart device through internet, that means that is not a common fridge, it is a smart fridge. That's why this phenomena is called as Internet of Things. Things which have internet enabled inside them and which can communicate with one another through the use of internet are actually called as smart devices or Internet of Things based devices. Internet of Things is a platform where regular smart devices are connected to the internet so they can interact, collaborate and exchange data with each other over a wireless network or using internet. Now to things. Now here regular devices or regular things mean actually your daily life objects, but they should be smart, they should be enabled with internet inside them. Secondly, they should be able to use that internet in order to exchange or transfer data among them. And the internet they would be using would be wireless internet. Wireless internet means a type of Wi-Fi internet. They would be catching the internet from any internet providing resource, such as a modem inside your home, which would be providing internet signals to all of your home appliances, smart home appliances. So internet isn't just about computers anymore. Now all kinds of everyday objects can connect to the internet, such as smart cars, smart thermostats, sports equipment, home appliances, refrigerators, even shoes can be smart, ACs, air conditioners, microwave ovens, your doors, lights and bulbs, vacuum cleaners, grinders, toasters, speakers, fire alarms, smoke alarms, temperature sensors, traffic lights, CCTV cameras, fans, speakers, alarm clocks, washing machines, and much more, and many more devices can be smart if they have internet enabled inside them. But just internet availability or internet enabling is not enough. There should be two other things incorporated inside a smart device. Each of the daily life common objects can be called as IoT based objects or IoT based things if they have, number one, sensors built inside them, number two, actuators built inside them, and number three, internet availability or internet enabled inside them. These IoT based devices use sensors and actuators to communicate with each other, but along with these sensors and actuators, an object should be built in with internet. It should be internet enabled. A device having these all features is called as a smart device. IoT based smart device. If an air conditioner has a sensor, actuator built inside it and it is internet enabled, then that AC can be called as a smart AC. But if you minus one of the things, one of these three things, that device would not be called as a smart device, especially if you subtract internet enabling or internet availability. In order to understand this lecture properly, you need to grab some basic concepts, which are, number one, you need to understand that what a smart device is. Smart device is a device which is internet enabled and has built-in sensors and actuators present inside it. It can take intelligent decisions on its own based on an output or based on an input. So a smart device has actually three things inside it: sensors, actuators, and internet. Now, what is the role of sensor inside a smart device? A sensor is actually a small chip installed inside a smart device which senses the surroundings, which senses the environment, which senses any thing being done by the user, and it collects data and gives that data as an input to the smart device. Further in this lecture, examples will be provided to make you understand these terms and concepts. So, sensor actually collects the data from the surroundings and transfers that data to its device as an input. Then actuator. Actuator is also a small chip like a sensor installed inside a smart device, but its working is different from the sensor. An actuator actually responds to the activities or data sensed by the sensor. Means first step of data collection or sensing the environment is actually done by the sensor, and the second step or further step is actually taken by the actuator. It actually responds to the data or inputs sensed by the sensor. Then a gateway. Gateway is actually a modem or router which provides internet to all the smart devices present at home, or any devices using internet. So it is an internet enabled router or modem which actually passes the data coming from a smart device to another smart device, or passes the data coming from a smart device to the cloud platform. Actually, you need to understand that gateway is actually like a bridge connecting different devices with one another, or connecting different networks with one another. If one smart device wants to send some data to another smart device, then between these two smart devices, gateway or modem or router acts as a bridge. Actually, the data of smart device number 1 would pass through the gateway in order to reach smart device number 2. Number 1, gateway or router modem actually provides internet to both smart devices, as well as it passes the data of smart device number 1 to the smart device number 2, or it passes the data of one smart device directly to some cloud platform for storage if that smart device wants to store its data on some cloud platform. And very important thing, the second important thing about a gateway is that a gateway is actually a modulator, a converter. That is a very important point. That is an important point, that gateway is basically a converter, a modulator. It converts digital signals to analog signals, and it converts analog signals to digital signals. It converts one type of signals to another type of signals. Analog signals to digital signals. Digital means actually into binary form. It converts analog signals into binary form. Then another important term is network. Network means a combination of interconnected devices which are interconnected with one another. A network of people, a network of devices, a network of buildings. Any combination of things is called as network, but these things should be interconnected with one another. Then there's another term called as end node. End node is actually a device which has the capability to send or receive data. That means any smart device or any type of device which can send or receive data, which can transfer or exchange data with any other smart device, can be called as an end node, or a smart end node. Next term is cloud platform. You are actually familiar with this term. This term was repetitively used in the previous lecture. Cloud platform is actually a virtual or online or internet-based platform run or provided by a cloud service provider. And on that cloud platform, you can store, manage, maintain, and access your data on a virtual space, and that space is actually invisible to the user, but you are just using their services, using the internet on an online platform. Then there is another very important term, portable device. Any type of device which can be easily carried from one place to another in daily routine, which can be easily moved from one location to another, can be called as a portable device, which can be carried with the user, which the user can carry along himself. For example, laptop. You know that laptop is easily movable. A user can carry it anywhere around the globe. But if we talk about a table, a huge table, of course that table can be moved from one place to another, but not on daily basis. You cannot carry a table or chair along with on daily basis. A chair or a table is movable, but not on daily basis. A user cannot carry that thing in its purse or laptop or clutch or a bag. Then there is another related term called as non-portable device. As the name is indicating, a non-portable device is a device which cannot be easily carried from one place to another in daily routine, which cannot be moved from one location to another in daily routine. For example, a fan. A fan is fixed on a certain location on the roof, but it cannot be moved or carried by a user along himself. Same is the case with an AC, a fridge. These things cannot be carried on daily basis. So they are non-portable devices. So carryable devices are portable devices and non-carryable devices are non-portable devices. Then there is another term, communication device. Very simple, its concept is very simple, that a device which can transfer, exchange, send or receive data with or without using the internet. So any device which is actually transferring the data is a communicating device. For example, if you talk about a communicating device, an internet enabled communicating device, that would be a router, modem or a gateway or a smart device or a laptop or a computer. They are all communication devices as they are transferring the data or exchanging the data with some other device, but they are also internet enabled. So they are internet enabled communication devices. But there are many other devices which are communicating but they are not enabled with internet. Like if you talk about the era of cell phones before the smartphones, the era of Nokia 30 series and things like that, they were not enabled with internet. They were not smartphones, but they were cell phones, and they were able to exchange SMSs, texts and calls among them. Those devices were able to communicate, but they were not enabled with internet, but they were also called as communication devices, but they were not internet enabled communication devices. Then there's another term called as unguided media, or another term, guided media. Unguided media is actually a cable-less or a wireless media or medium where no cable is present. Data is not being transferred through a cable, where actually air is the medium. Radio waves carry along the data from one device and pass through the air medium to send that data to another device. Devices nowadays, especially wireless devices or portable devices like laptops or smartphones, are actually using radio waves to send their data from one place to another. If one smartphone is communicating with another smartphone, we can say that actually radio waves are actually carrying the data of one smart device to another smart device. Radio waves are actually carrying your data, but through the air, through this hollow space. Your data is not actually moving through some cable. But if you are using some desktop computer and there is attached some LAN cable or internet cable, or a router cable is providing internet to your desktop computer through a cable, through a LAN cable, you can say that as you are using some cable for internet for transferring your data, so you can say that you are using a guided media. Guided media means a cable or wire based medium when your data actually travels through cable to reach to some destination. If one desktop computer sends or wants to send data to another desktop computer, and these two computers are actually using LAN cables or internet cables attached with them. So this means that the data of desktop computer number 1 is actually traveling from that device to another device or desktop computer number 2 through that cable, and that cable can be fiber optic cable or a twisted and things like that. Internet of Things is influencing our lifestyles from the way we react to the way we behave. From air conditioners that you can control with your smartphone, to smart cars providing short routes, or smart watch which is tracking your daily activities. IoT is a giant network of connected devices. These smart devices are connected and controlled by one another through internet. These devices gather and share data about how they are used and the environment in which they are operated. In every smart physical device, sensors are embedded. It can be your smartphone, electrical appliances, traffic lights, smart cameras, and almost every device in our daily life, in our day-to-day life. These sensors continue So, these sensors continuously emit data about the working state of the devices. These sensors are taking information from real physical objects and uploading it to internet, uploading it to some cloud platform. Here you can see in this diagram that there's a smart watch, a smart traffic signal, a smart printer, a smart barcode reader, which is mostly used on shops, a smart car. So there exist all smart devices, and these smart devices are actually communicating with one another through internet. But at the end, these all smart devices actually submit or store their data on some cloud platform. All devices should be connected with internet. All devices should have internet enabled inside them in order to stay connected. Sensor is a small chip installed inside an IoT-based device which senses the surroundings or environment-based activities, or senses or detects the activities from the surroundings. Then the sensor responds to those activities and provides these collected or detected or sensed data to its device in which it is actually built in. Then the device takes action on that input provided by the sensor. You can see here that diagram on the screen in which there are present multiple types of sensors. Which means that there exist different types of sensors and different structures of sensors for different types of devices. A temperature sensor is different from a proximity sensor, and a temperature sensor is installed, for example, inside an AC or inside a fridge, while a proximity sensor is installed inside a door, while smoke detector sensor is actually installed inside smoke alarms. Heartbeat sensor is installed inside a smart stethoscope or inside a heart pace maker monitor present inside an ICU. Likewise, different sensors are present or actually developed for different type of smart devices. Let's take an example to understand the concept relevant to a sensor. Suppose a smart fridge in your kitchen has built inside it a heat sensor. If that fridge produces excessive heat above normal levels, the computer would automatically get switched off. Means that built-in heat sensor sensed excessive heat as per its purpose. After that, sensor gives this collected data about the heat as an input to its device fridge. As a result, that fridge automatically gets switched off in order to cool its circuitry down. This hierarchy actually shows the same steps that heat sensor of a fridge actually sensed the heat above normal levels and collected the data about the excessive heat levels and transferred that collected data as an input to its device's processor, to its devices or fridge's processor, and then as a result that fridge's processor took an action based on the data collected by the sensor. Processor respond to actually that collected or sensed data sent by the sensor, and as a result, what action actually the processor took, it actually switched off the fridge in order to cool it down for some time, in order to avoid a short circuit. Basic concept to understand here is that mostly in a smart home, all the smart home appliances are basically controlled by or connected with your smartphone, so that the user can actually control any smart home appliance or any smart home object by just one click on its by just clicking on a smartphone. You can control all your smart home appliances at home through your cell phone by sitting at one location. For example, suppose you are getting an alert on your smartphone from your smart CCTV camera. Now here you need to understand that your smart CCTV camera is actually connected with your smartphone, is being controlled by your smartphone, and in case of any activity, it is actually sending the or transferring the data through the internet to your smartphone. So suppose you are getting an alert on your smartphone from your smart CCTV camera that there is some motion near your front door, and if somebody rings the doorbell, you will get an alert about that. You would be able to see the person standing on your door, and you would be able to unlock the door for that person while you are sitting inside your room at one location. This way, in a smart home, you can control all the activities. You can control all the activities of smart devices or smart appliances present inside your home. A user can not only control smart devices by sitting at home. If a user is actually sitting inside his office in some remote or faraway location, at that time too that user can control any smart home appliance, any smart gadget, any smart object present at his home by just sitting inside his office. Now, another important element of a smart device after the sensor is an actuator. An actuator is another small chip like a sensor that responds to the sensed activities. It responds to activities sensed by a sensor. Means sensor senses or collects the data, transfers it to the device. Then if the device feels it as feasible, it activates the actuator in certain circumstances. An actuator is actually a component of a machine that is responsible for moving and controlling a mechanism or system. An actuator is a component of a machine that is responsible for moving and controlling a mechanism. For example, let's take an example of an automatic door. An automatic door in a shopping mall has built-in sensors and detectors inside it. When a customer comes closer to that automatic smart door, that smart door automatically senses the presence of someone through its sensors, and smart door automatically opens. Sensor when senses the presence of someone coming closer to the door, that sensor actually sends that input or sensed information or collected information to the device. That device actually then activates the actuator or actuator chip. Why? Because actuator actually controls the movement of that automatic door, and actuator actually opens it automatically. As actuator always needs a control signal or an input or a source of energy, so in that case actually actuator got that control signal or a source of energy or an input actually from the sensor. So the first step was performed by the sensor, that it sensed the presence of someone coming closer to that automatic door, coming closer to that smart door. And then the second step was covered by the actuator, that as a result As a result of data coming from the sensor, it actually opened the door, it moved the door aside for the customer to come in. Likewise, we can take an example of a washing machine, a smart washing machine. So a smart washing machine's touch panel has sensors which sense the pressure of fingers when a user actually presses the touch panel for clicking an option. So that touch sensor gives this collected data as an input to the washing machine's processor. As a result, that processor activates the actuator, which actually swishes or rotates the clothes in anti-clockwise or clockwise direction for washing purposes.